There are gestures that last no more than a second, yet they alter the course of a life. A glance that lingers just a fraction too long. A hand that closes around another when no one expects it. A silence that, in the middle of music and laughter, seems to shout louder than any applause. Have you ever witnessed a moment so brief, so deceptively small, that it left you with more questions than answers? That is how the night began. It would later be remembered not for the speeches, nor for the glittering toasts, nor for the golden lights strung across the manicured garden, but for a single, unassuming act. One hand taking another. The perfect portrait the company's annual gala unfolded beneath suspended lanterns that glowed like captured stars. Crystal glasses chimed delicately in the air as elegant conversations rose and fell in well-rehearsed sophistication. The scent of expensive perfume mingled with fresh blossoms arranged in towering displays around the garden. Among the guests stood 4 figures who seemed, at first glance, to embody a portrait of respectability. James, impeccable, composed in a pale blue shirt that mirrored the evening sky. Deep, radiant in a soft blue dress, luminous yet understated. James's mother, striking in deep red, poised and observant. And James's father, elegant in a dark suit. Carrying that quiet authority that commands respect without asking for it, everything appeared harmonious. Until it wasn't. The gesture when Deep's name was announced, recognized for her community work in the village, she hesitated. Large formal events were not her world. Her hands trembled slightly. The applause felt overwhelming. Then James's father stepped forward. With natural ease, or perhaps something more layered, he reached out and took her hand. "I'll walk with you," he said. The gesture itself was simple, but the eyes watching were not. Whispers began almost immediately, a few raised brows. Subtle glances exchanged. From several steps away, James felt time thicken. It was not jealousy, not exactly, nor was it simple discomfort. It was something older. Something that stirred in the most vulnerable corner of his memory. Rumors of a youthful love his father once had in the village. Family stories half told. A woman who had disappeared without farewell. Dates that never quite aligned. Silences that felt intentional. The hand remained there, steady, protective. Was it the hand of an older man guiding a nervous young woman? Or the hand of someone recognizing a reflection of a past never fully buried? In his father's eyes, James saw something difficult to decipher. Pride. Guilt. Melancholy. If you had been there, what would you have thought? We rarely see what is truly happening. We see what we fear. The question that would not rest when Deep reached the stage. His father released her hand gently. Applause filled the garden. Conversations restarted. Music resumed. But something had shifted. Sometimes it is not the gesture that matters most, but the question it leaves suspended in the air. That night, as golden lights shimmered and glasses continued to collide in celebration, a quiet doubt began growing inside James. Was it merely paternal support? Or the beginning of a truth he was not ready to face? The night that refused to end. Some nights do not conclude when the lights go out. They continue in the mind. James lay awake long after the gala ended. His suit hung neatly in the closet. The room was silent, but in his thoughts, the same image replayed, his father's hand holding Deep's. It had not been prolonged. It had not been intimate, yet its weight felt disproportionate. He tried to rationalize. His father had always been a correct man, firm, disciplined, emotionally restrained. Public displays of affection were not in his nature, and yet that night, something in his expression had softened. Recognition, regret, Protection. The human mind, when explanations are missing, becomes a master storyteller. Morning silence. Breakfast the next day unfolded in near discomfort. His father turned the newspaper pages as though nothing had occurred. His mother poured tea serenely, unaware, or perhaps deeply aware, of internal storms. Deep smiled with her usual gentleness, but James noticed details, the way his father avoided prolonged eye contact. The slight sigh when Deep thanked him again for walking her to the stage, the silence that lingered too long after ordinary sentences. "Why did you take her to the stage?" His father looked up. Finally, only a pause. No shock. James spoke, and sometimes a pause weighs more than an immediate answer. "She was nervous," he replied calmly. "No one should walk alone when they're afraid." The sentence was simple, yet it did not quiet the deeper unease. Even beautiful, because what unsettles us is not always logic. Sometimes it is the possibility that a truth exists capable of reshaping our lives. Rumors and roots. James remembered the old whispers, a woman from the village, a youthful romance. Coincidences, dates, a disappearance. That afternoon he sought out Deep in the garden. Beneath a tree where she was gathering fallen blossoms. "Did you feel uncomfortable last night?" he asked carefully. "I felt supported." Supported? No. She shook her head. Perhaps that was the key. The word echoed. How often do we project our fears onto gestures born from kindness? Perhaps his father did not see in Deep a secret from the past, but simply a young woman deserving protection. But logic does not always calm the heart. That evening James confronted a deeper truth. The problem was not the hand held at the party. It was his fear of losing what he loved most. The real question shifted. Do I trust enough not to let doubt destroy my happiness? The confession later. In his father's study, the air felt heavier. "Why did you do it?" James asked. This time, the answer came slowly. "Because I don't want to lose you." There it was, not forbidden attachment, not scandal. Fear, not hidden paternity. Fear of being displaced. Fear of love shifting direction. Fear of no longer being enough. Have you ever felt someone intrude into your space, not from malice, but insecurity? Have you ever doubted a gesture because your own fear distorted it? James understood then. It was not a father-daughter relationship, it was a father afraid of becoming irrelevant. Learning to integrate. When James told Deep, she did not cry, she did not smile, she understood something essential. Love is not competition. It is coexistence. Conflicts are often born not from hatred, but from poorly managed love. The following days were fragile. James's mother was the first to speak plainly. To love someone, she told Deep, is to enter a story that began long before you. Deep realized she had stepped into chapters filled with invisible wounds and inherited silences. James struggled between loyalty and devotion, but love does not come with instructions. Eventually, his father asked to speak with them both. "I didn't handle my fear well," he admitted. It wasn't right. Acknowledging fault does not erase impact, but it opens a door. In that moment, Deep no longer saw ambiguity. She saw a man afraid of loneliness. James reached for her hand then, not publicly, not performatively, but with certainty. This gesture transformed everything. Because real love does not prove power, weeks later healing is not forgetting. It offers security. Deep still remembered the pressure of that hand at the gala, but it no longer wounded her. It invited understanding. One afternoon on the terrace, James's father approached in a simple shirt. Sleeves rolled up, as though shedding old armor. "I don't want you to see me as an obstacle," he said. "I don't," Deep replied softly, "but I need you to trust us." Us. That word changed everything. James realized true growth is not choosing between love and family, and sometimes, the greatest act of love is stepping back. It is integrating both. The real lesson, the original question, was it a father-daughter relationship, proved too shallow. The deeper issue was boundaries. Where does fear end and respect begin? Relationships do not endure because a hand grips tightly. They endure because two hands choose to remain joined freely. We often assume conflict is born from hatred. More often, it is born from fear. The ambiguous gesture was not rivalry. Love does not compete. It was insecurity. Parents are not invulnerable figures. It builds. They fear fading. They fear being replaced. Understanding that humanity allows forgiveness, but understanding does not mean permitting everything. Respect matters. Boundaries matter. James did not abandon his father to love Deep, nor did he sacrifice Deep to appease his family. Equilibrium emerged because everyone chose reflection over pride. And perhaps this is the final truth: when misunderstandings arise, when jealousy disguises itself as courtesy, when insecurity hides behind polite gestures, the question is not, what did that gesture mean? The question is, how will we respond? With distance? Or with dialogue? Relationships are not strengthened through control. They are strengthened through trust, through honesty, not through fear. And when we choose understanding before judgment, we open the door to deeper, more authentic bonds.